with our little Pitchandikulam team here. We just want to share some ideas, some pictures we've accumulated over this last 6 months, a bit more, since we were invited by Tim to look at the possibilities, what do we do with these blessed acres. And so it's just a sharing, an invocation that I hope some energy will come from more of the community and other friends and well-wishers of the TS to transform things, change things, grow things. Anyway. We're okay with the lights, or you can see okay?
I can sign.
I took this picture probably 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago. All of at the background, that is all the TS. That is the TS from the broken bridge on the other side. I took this when we were doing the Tolkapia Ponga. It's interesting, it's huge. As we know, it is a great green lung for Chennai, and it's interesting that our work is, now we've been asked to help it here. At that time we were creating the Tolkapia Ponga, and now we're also involved with IIT as these special areas of Chennai. It's just to remind, very, very briefly, this is where I come from, we come from. It's why I'm here, because we've been stumbling around Tamil Nadu for 55 years, playing that game of changing, transforming. And this is 55 years ago what we were given in the Auroville area. And of course we changed it into that. It's why we know this concept of transformation. This is now the Pitchandikulam forest with its 600 species of plants. And you know this. Some of you have been there. Tim's been there. Nancy's been there. Many people have. And those who haven't, I hope, will come. And it's our home. It's where we practiced our craft over those decades, well, 50 years, and learned the possibilities. And we practiced some of those possibilities, changing rubbish dumps into nice gardens and silted up lakes into beautiful, useful lakes in southern Chennai. And this idea of, from very early on in the story of Pitchandikulam and our work, was that we created places where we could teach. We sort of learned our song. As we learned our song, then we could sing it, and then people seemed to be interested. So Pitchandikulam became the first environmental education training center, and then Nakupam, and then we came to Chennai, to Adyar. This is actually in western Chennai, and some of you have been there. Peter's been there, and early morning, and it's an example of a restoration of a lake with a panchayat, middle of nowhere, western Chennai, and it's where the school kids come to learn the skills of transformation and have classes. And the panchayat uses it as a Gram Sabha place. On the 15th of, they raised the flag there, and it was interesting. So it's become a community center. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's what we always say. These places should become community places, complete community centers of knowledge. It's about change and transformation. That's all. That was the game that we've been playing for 50 years. And in Auroville and from Auroville. So here we are in this wonderful, this extraordinary place, extraordinary, with all its memories, and its wisdom, and it's in such a special place. It's a unique location. I mean, there it is, on the coast, on the sea, with the sand dunes, the estuary, the river, the ponds, the forest. Everything's here. It's a perfect place, and it is the point, the culminating point of that huge catchment of the Adyar River. And whatever happens above us here, it affects this. And reversely, if the water flowing past here, just 100 meters away, is clean, then perhaps we've made a success. And perhaps as a species we can survive, because it's sort of been getting worse. And so as a point of showing an incredible possibility of change, we said that, I remember Nawaz, we said that 20 years ago when we were doing Adyar. We said in 10 years we'll be able to swim in the Adyar River. I swam here 50 years ago. But we said that when we were doing Adyar. But let's face it, it didn't get cleaner. But if we have that vision, that wish, and we work towards it, not just us, but millions of people in Chennai. And the government is sort of onto it, but they're always onto it. They've been onto it for about 70 years. And that's the ultimate aim, is that we can swim again, perhaps float with the Sakar, like our good friend in the Adyar River. Anyway, it is such a gift to be given the chance to work from this point and help those hundreds and hundreds of square kilometers of, a lot of it's a mess, and a lot of it's potentially very beautiful, of the Adyar catchment. Yeah. We've got that. We've got the sand dunes. We've got the mangroves, we've got the birds. And those mangroves now that fill the islands, when we started the Ponker, they weren't there. But then, gradually, with Ilango's efforts, they're right up to Tiruvaka Bridge and further. What an opportunity to celebrate. And somehow, the celebration is really important. There should be a water festival once a year. I propose that now, a water festival in the TS. There should be a seed festival also, but let's make it start with a water festival. A witnessing garden forest that has heard, so many great stories, and share the visions of wise people. The memory, where does one go to listen here? You go near the big trees. They've listened to stories from people I don't have to mention, but you know well. That's what you walk through here. You walk through a world of memories of these extraordinary characters that sat under the banyan tree and met and thought and visioned. And that's what's special. We've all read enough text of what the wise people have said, and it's very important. It's very important. It clearly is. There's been a huge wish to have a garden. To have 250 acres, the potential is just extraordinary. And the beauty of what's here now is extraordinary. There is natural vegetation. The concerns of people like Gita and Pitchandikulam and all the other ecologists who studied here and researched it, these are the questions. These are the questions that we as coming in to think about what should be here. These are the deeper questions. What do you do? I come from Tasmania. I grew up there, which this picture is taken in a World Heritage Area. A third of that state is probably one of the most pristine parts of the planet. There isn't much pristine vegetation left around here. Too many people riding over it with their bullock carts or sweeping it or fighting over it, or just a lot of people for a long time. It's not Tasmania. Wildness is something we love. And there's bits of wildness here that are precious. I think remind us of where we come from. When we're near the Western Ghats, like Janeshwar is often, that's important. That's the wildness we have in Tamil Nadu. Or in the sacred groves, but those sacred groves are diminishing, they're getting smaller, etc. But to preserve bits of wildness, it's what we tried to do and what we manifested in the Tolkappia Ponga. And the genius of Tamil Nadu, that they allowed us to plant 200,000 plants of 176 indigenous species and create something sort of wild in the middle of Chennai was amazing. Instead of putting down green lawns and a few plastic swings. And that was and the people that walk there and then get back to you and say, look, we can walk there and we can forget about this wonderful, crazy city that we all live in. To have these places which have the memory of the trees, have the possibility to bring you back to your roots. That's special to have that in the city. And the TS, of course, is something really special to have. Yeah, we do have problems. Oh, no, that. We've got the invasives, and it has to be addressed, controlled, or their methods. So these are the discussions, the conversations over the next times, what to do about these things. Gently. We have a way of gardening. We try to teach in our little group that when you've been in an area, you can't really see you've been there. Now that's hard to say when you've got something like the Antigone going over all the trees, but you don't make a mess. But if gently we can persuade the vegetation to come back to the right thing. And that's what we've been doing in bringing the indigenous species up in the last months. Even today, I think 1,500 plants came into the TS on our truck. But this is a work. This is sort of scientific work. It's amongst the best botanists of Chennai. Let's all sit together and work out what to do. It's not just here. Giti National Park, my God. Yeah? All over the place, you've got problems of infestation by invasives. We did, in the last months, do a complete survey of the whole both sides of the road. And this is, there's 425 species. We've got the surveys from before that Dr. Nelsingam and others did, and so we've got possibilities of comparison. We've established a nursery, brought these seedlings from Pitchandikulam, 5,000. They've got 48 new species that can be put into the campus. And this is our job. We've got some name boards, we've got some slabs, we've got paintings, and things happen now. People helped and other people helped, and it's it's good to have a nursery, and I hope that nursery grows. The seeds collected by the kids and the people living here, and it becomes really dynamic. We've been given now the wonderful little garden of meditation, and we have our little office there. We're working on getting a gramophone. Friends want to restore the records, but it's not difficult to get gramophones to play 78 records. I mean, there's a priceless collection of them, his master's voice, etc. We're working on it, so if anybody knows, anyone's got a spare 78 playing gramophone, please let me know. Yeah, but this place has become it's planning, it's ideas, and it's just a few of us. Janine is here, who's holding it together. She's very much part of the team, and this is a team that is supported by TS. Venkat is here, bringing his wisdom, his experience, and so there's a growing team. And when we meet and talk about the plans for the Orchard bungalow, etc., this is the planning place. Then we've got the teachers coming. Then we start the programs. But it's all, good evening, madam. It's nice to see you. We've had wonderful interactions with, of course, the Orchard School. What are we talking about? I go on mumbling all over the place here and in different secretaries' offices and amongst the corridors of power, and people say, "Oh, Mr. Joss, what is a blue-green centre? Please." And I think it's coming in because it's come into the government parlance, don't you think? As in, a lot of people are talking about blue-green centres. And it is. It's water, it's plants, it's an education centre. It's what we've done from the 1970s to teach people about these humble skills that we've acquired. This is again the picture of this little centre we have in Western Chennai. And we've put up a few. We've got Nanil, we've got Adyar, we've got Sirius coming up, and Pitchandikulam is there, and Auroville and Pitchandikulam itself. And it's interesting because at one point, it was last year, this new green company that has put together it's huge, several thousand crore budget to again clean up the Adyar River. You know, every now and again we get this. But it's clever, this one, and it's clever people doing it. But they asked me, what do we do? And they're going to have the interventions to stop the sewage going in, but I said, look, every few kilometers, please put up an environment center. Get the people, the community involved. Get them involved, from the people in the penthouses to the people in the slums. Get them involved with caring for their little part of their banks of the river. And we know from experiences from Germany, from the Thames, from America, that really works. And so they've included in that plan several, I think it's 2 blue-green centres. We said let's do lots of them. But even that idea to get the community involved, it's sort of working. Let's see what happens. It's another story, and they'll come to us and maybe to get involved in putting the teaching part of it in there, if they can construct the building. This is what was some of those words there. They're words, but they're words we've thought about, but this is what a centre does. And it's all common sense. Can we involve the communities? Can we really steward the land? Can we create eco-warriors? Can we train the trainers? Can people go back from these centres to their schools, to their homes, and plant and change their little campuses and their homes and their streets and take on action rather than just have it as a little class? The vision is to develop the TS campus into a restoration ecology training hub for Chennai, for Tamil Nadu. Okay, this is all, but it's absolutely possible. This was a vision that somehow we shared with Tim, and he said, well, what do we do? He said, well, can we use the best version of the TS and work with a better version of ourselves and make something that is really, that offers back to Chennai, that offers something really significant to Chennai and Tamil Nadu. I showed this picture because it's a environment center, to me the best I know in the world. I've worked with it for about 40 years. It also was created on a rubbish dump in like the Adyar Ponga a bit, in inner city Melbourne, in Melbourne, Australia. And it's such an amazing place. Ceres is the goddess, the Greek goddess, yeah. But it's a community center. It's gardens. It's got the awards for the best indigenous plant nursery. It's running training programs. Millions of people come there. It's self-sustaining. It grows its own. Look at the gardens. You see it on the right there. These are all extraordinary gardens. Growing vegetables, growing food. And we can ask ourselves, I think, well, I was asking today, I think, what sort of food were they growing here 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 70 years ago? This really interests me. I'm sure this was rice land. I'm not saying that we're going to suddenly plow the whole place and grow rice. But the exciting thing is this community will grow inside and outside and whatever. And that you could grow the food that I think what I understood, there was a lot of food grown for those early schools, the Alcott school and whatever, because it was pretty hard to feed the kids. Now, that part of it is a different world now, it's a different circumstances, but actually growing some of your vegetables, your spinach or whatever, these are all part of it. This might sound far-fetched, but around the Alcott bungalow, I can see little home gardens, little terrace gardens, little models that the kids can take back to their suburbs, to their schools. And there's nothing like actually doing it. And our teaching is all doing it. It's not in classrooms or whatever. This community, and it is a community, they participated very much in writing the environmental education chapter of the Adyar master plan for the Torkapia Ponga. They've been to Auroville 20 times, and it's an incredibly dynamic place. It's just a model, and it's got a very deep sort of spiritual base. Anyway, Ceres is a group that we're always in contact with. What have we got? We've got this extraordinary challenge. Whether the moment it is the Alcott bungalow, this top, can it be repurposed as a blue-green centre? Can it be transformed into a teaching hub? In a few weeks, in principle, the work of restoration, the scaffolding will go down, and it's there, and it's ready for a visioning, a designing of that extraordinary place into something that will be so charming and so both mysterious and fun for the kids to understand the ecosystems of the Coromandel Coast. Rooms can be themed on a variety of ecosystems, enabling students, just to understand where we are. We know the spaces, it's extraordinary. You live there. But the sea, the dunes, to go into the bottom room before you go up the winding staircase, That could be underground. It could be quite dark still, with things lit up to show the termites and all the mushroom gardens and the things that happen under the ground. Because we're not aware of it. We're not aware, really, of that big wet thing out there. What's it called? No, it's the sea. Where you go, Sam? It's huge. We don't know. We're busy destroying it, trawling it in the wrong way or whatever. But Auroville will be just about the sea. This huge thing that affects Tamil Nadu every moment of the day. And ecology, we know, is that conversation between the top of the mountain and the sea. And we want to bring all of that into, suppose we bring this into this building. That you've got a room for the dunes, you've got a room for the river, you've got a room for the insects, you've got mobiles, you've got something that's really fun, and the kids, not just children, community, government workers, policy makers, everybody. That's the sort of vision that we have for doing something in this space. That's a research place. There's a knowledge hub. We've developed this in some of our village training centers. Knowledge centers where all the verticals, some 20 verticals of information about a village, about a community are there. This can be here. All the biota of this place. All the information on climate, all the information on water, be here in this structure. We've developed teaching manuals in Tamil, of course, and English that we use. They're being used in different parts of India too. So all that teaching material, and that's there, ready to put into the system. It's a resource center. Those posters, the posters that we've developed and other people have developed, there's plenty of information. There's plenty of information. And these next few slides are showing, they're all from programs we did. All of these slides we've taken. We teach in 30 schools in Chennai now, and another program supported by Tata Communication Building. That's the program in Western Chennai, around the Puttur Center is that. We've been teaching in the schools around Adyar for many decades now, since the time of the program. We're teaching out at Sirisiri. And most of these programs, they're outside. Sure, they're in classrooms too, but as much as possible, to have these places where we can bring kids and show, and rather than just talk about it or show a movie, but we've got actually something living. That if this can be that extraordinary classroom, the TS, and of course particularly that part around the wild part. This is what we envisage. Biodiversity surveys that we do, that the kids do, that they do it regularly, and because surveys need to be done regularly to see what's changing. These pictures, some of them in the Adyar Punga, little transects. Observation. This is Puttur. And it's interesting, this picture, because the people performing are kids from our school in the village of Pitchandikulam. They came up here to teach the kids of Chennai how to do telekut and villapat, all these traditional ways of communicating. That's what we do. Finger puppets, these puppets, all sorts of puppet games, lots and lots of games, but this theatre is something. Our team last week flew up to Delhi and did a whole training for teachers there. The guy, the Terrakut main guy, he'd never been in a plane before. It was great. And you see the map. This is in Chennai. The kids from the village teaching about the Adyar watershed map. That is the watershed, that huge watershed of the Adyar River. This is it's fascinating when you get city kids working with village kids and teaching each other. Mapping's really important. We use mapping a lot. Even kids can do their mapping, whether it's little GPSs or their phones or whatever, but they do mapping to know where they are, to define their catchment. Because Chennai, as we know, is made up of hundreds of catchments, hundreds. And we did that with the Ponga. We always said with the Tokapia Ponga, it is not 59 acres. It's 2 square kilometers of a catchment. Past that, the water goes to the Bucking Canal. Past it goes the other side. This water, 2 square kilometers, comes into the Ponga. And we need that water because it's a wetland. It's a city wetland. We needed the water, but we wanted the water to be clean. So it's our responsibility to what? Separate the garbage and source. Yeah, little things. The other day we had here a Zoom call with Veena Srinivasan in Bangalore, and it was interesting because we were talking about the water, how to get more water into the ground here. And said, we can see what water comes from outside, storm water. Yeah, if we can harvest that, also that will help. Clean it as it comes through, for instance. And that's to do with catchment. To map what is the catchment of the TS. Water comes from outside. In Adyar, that's what we did. Stormwater is really, but make sure if possible the stormwater is clean. Anyway. Yeah, that students can visit and see whether it's art or the forests that we've created. Because kids are fascinated when they walk into a place and they go, this forest was only planted 20 years ago. And then they can see it actually can happen. And that's what's important. Seeds are the clue to everything. Nurseries are the clue to everything. It's in Pitchandikulam. It's the kids from the school there. They're coming all the time. But hopefully we'll have a nursery here with the kids, whether it's here or in Alcott School. We'll have in both places, I'm sure. But producing seedlings. It can be medicinal plants. It can be anything. It can be vegetables. And trees to plant in gardens where there are possibilities. Yeah, I think we all know that in spite of what maybe teachers sometimes or the government says, the kids shouldn't be touching dirt, yeah? But kids, it's the best thing to have. And you say, we have clean soil here. Huh? You can walk barefoot. And this is important. Why haven't we got clean soil? Because basically, it's quite possible for kids to do anything with the soil. They wash afterwards or whatever, no problem. But we have lots of programs in the schools, in all our schools, getting the kids to plant gardens. And whether it's model terrace gardens, etc. But this should be a big part of any program. We hope, we've had our lovely interventions. We've sat with a few people. We've sat with hundreds of students. We've talked about what we're going to do. We want the Alcott School to be the model school. We can test so much of what we're talking about now there. We've tested it in hundreds of schools. But if we can transform, help the Alcott School to be really shining, to be a green, sustainable school, wow. And you've got wonderful people to work with to do it. And they've started at, was it 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning? And we went across Chennai and visited our little center. That was great. There's nothing like showing. What did I say to you when you rang and said, well, come and see our garden? Because there's no way I was going to talk to you about what we could do unless you see our garden. Yeah. Anyway, the Alcott School is a wonderful possibility. And Yeah, this was planting trees out there. I think there's two people, Jenny, to America. There they are, planting trees out of that little centre in Western Chennai. But this is important. It's not just the kids. This Blue-Green Centre is not just for kids. It's for policymakers. Let Mr. Starling come and see it. He came to the Ponga every month and walked with me when we were doing that. Anyway, blah, blah. But there's no reason that everybody can get involved in this. Perhaps there'll be little community gardens, you know, that people would like to have, because hardly anybody's got any gardens anywhere. And there's a land here. But it's a nice picture because it's only a few weeks ago. No? Yeah? Planting trees. Yeah, we need little pavilions. These are just pavilions that we've created, and it'll be nice to have small paths. We start with a path. Each year we'll design those paths to get to a place where you perhaps got a pavilion or a few places to sit next to a little pond, and that's what the TS can really, it's there, but some of it's a bit overgrown. If it becomes friendly and accessible, I think it would be great. But we're also very much into tree houses. In Auroville we have a tree house community that put up tree houses from South America to Australia to wherever. And it's this is quite possible, I'm sure. Somewhere near the Alcott there'll be a really nice cubby house for the kids. Blah blah. Yeah. But these are just, of course, I'm sure solar will come in here more. The one on the left is the treatment system at our school in Pitchandikulam that's been working for 20 years. But all this is possible, the different technologies of how to clean water. And of course, it's really good to have at the Blue-Green Centre to have a proper little weather station where the kids understand climate and its changes. This is from our centre out of Puttur, but just seeing the type of stones, they're all organic. We're not putting up concrete benches. We'll talk about that more later. And the arts, we've brought a few things. That's a picture from the TS on the left. Yeah, it's nice. And the centre one is in the nursery, and the other butterfly one is outside the garden of meditation. We definitely will propose. We are proposing to bring more art. We use a lot of art in our sort of education program. Those pictures, they're actually stones ready in Pitchandikulam, but it can be, the centre one is all about palm leaf writing. I mean, this is, I think, we thought maybe it could go outside the library, yeah? Anyway, and the other extraordinary, the art of nature is just so deep and so intense. And all this is possible. These stones are ready to, we use it in many of our projects. It just brings so much beauty and harmony. Combine that with stones, and we use a lot of rocks to sit on instead of concrete benches. They last many million more years than concrete benches. And you can have we got the space for a maze? Have we got the sacred geometry, whether it was the cathedrals or the mazes? And we've created mazes in Auroville, in our botanical garden, and they're amazing places. This is just a meditation walk. I actually took this in Cape Town. Yeah, in a little environment centre there. They are pictures I've taken, they're not in net. This is interesting in a way because it's very early stages, but when walking in the coconut groves here, it is one of the places where you could create a bigger water body. You might have to take up one or two old coconut trees, but you could create a water park. And this was part of the conversation yesterday with Veena Srinivasan, that to create a water park there, at the back of the Buddha Garden, coconut grove, and highlight, showcase, put into operation all the water treatment systems that we know. And we know quite a bit, and there's a lot. And even take water from the Adyar River in a controlled way, just to show kids, show anybody, and to use it, that you can get something crystal clear out of it. It's like we're working in IoT, and you go to their water treatments there, and they'll, everything, black, grey water, everything's coming from that, 12, 15,000 people, and turning into something crystal clear. Interesting. This we can do, and Veena, I think this is going to be a really interesting project. Powered by solar, imagine that we create crystal clear water out of this thing out there, that stinking sewer in a way, the Adyar River. It should be beautiful, and we did swim in it, and our friends swam in it years ago. Turn it into something clear. Pump it with solar pumps out of the back of the TS. Let it run down through streams, back again in a circular. This is the sort of picture I have of something really interesting. Water is magic. Water has knock-on power that is extraordinary. And if we show technology and cleverness, what you can do with that huge resource we have there, apart from perhaps creating more small ponds, water retention landscapes, because this TS, it might look flat and feel, well, you know it much better than me, but it's not. It's actually undulating, and you look at the contour maps, it's fascinating. And some of it's sand, and some of it's hard. There's a lot of sand. It goes in. The little pond in the coconut grove has got water 1 meter below the surface. But you know more about this than me, and we've done. Veena did the studies from Atri. Atri did the studies 7 years ago. We want to do more now, but to turn that, to transform a bit of that area when the time's right, when the plans are there, when everything's into something quite magic. Maybe it's got a bit of a sculpture garden too, but a water landscape garden showing how you can purify the water of the Auroville River. Interesting. With, of course, all these vortex fountains and flow forms which we've done from Adyar Pond or whatever. There's some cleaning up. There's some cleaning up to do, but I should put these because to me it's a wonderful opportunity. It's not a problem. There's no problems, they're just opportunities. We can't do the old cut blue-green center. We can't have an environment center if we're not recycling, upcycling, dealing with all our waste. And this is only just common sense and technology and whatever. And this is really important. We can get to the point where 95% is actually sold, recycled up into something. Some of it is turned into art. And what is everywhere in the world a mess, what we have, solid waste management, here we'll turn it into something, this lovely old building, we can turn it into something exciting. We can transforming waste, it's processed and it's upcycled, it's turned into art. And the kids see that, how many, 15, 20 different sorts of plastic. Our kids in the village know all the different codes on the plastic things and the different plastics there are. It's amazing. You turn it into a sort of game, recycling, and kids love that. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's not a problem to me. In any institution in the world out there, it's just a mess. If we can show here, we can transform it all, tidy it up, and have a space that is a teaching space, it'll be amazing. I hope, yeah. And this, of course, when you take the lovely river walk and you walk along there, wouldn't it be nice to, it would be nice to lay on your back and smoke a cigar. Yeah. But that's what it looks like. It could look like that. That's the sort of same picture. We photoshopped it this morning. But suppose, just with the kids, we say, okay, we're going to clean up 10 meters of the river. Clean it up completely, just that 10 meters, leave the rest, and then just look at it. maybe sit down and have a meditation. Maybe a bit later, another group will come and do another 10 minutes. But this is actually, you can see, it's the same place, just Photoshop. We've got to. It's going to be a mess for a while. Chennai keeps, dumping all its stuff there, and we've got to. But it's just showing you. Yeah, that's the other comment on this wonderful campus. We sort of know it, but it's the magic of this campus and the places that need help. We know this, you know it better than me, but when I was looking at this the other day and I said, well, we need places to dream up a better version of ourselves. We need places to listen and to tell stories around campfires or on rooftops, under the stars with a coromandel breeze in our faces. And these places, it's like, I hope they don't fall down. I hope we've got the energy to like the Orkot bungalow and the other ashram or whatever. They're so special in these times of total ugliness as you travel through the wonderful city of, not total, I love Chennai, believe me. But we've got some problems of design for these last decades. Yeah? I'm sort of fascinated by the fragility of the situation. One should be at the moment, wherever you look, from Gaza to Ukraine or whatever. And I'm really intrigued by the tenacity of our species to believe that with all the actions we perpetrate against Mother Earth, that her grace is boundless. I mean, luckily she's not rejecting us yet. She could. But this place and these places, these wonderful places, I think they're going to store for people, for meditators, for people that want to have a retreat, for people to write poetry. Let's work on those times when they're all full again and there are campfires and we're sharing stories together. Transformation can be done. No one remembers this. Carpagam Avenue. Carpagam Avenue in the middle of the Adyar. This was given to us. This is the middle of the Adyar. And we changed it into that. And I never built a bridge in my life. It was extraordinary, the experience. But we can do things. This doesn't have to, all buildings, transform, but not transform, fixed up. But transformation or changing this crazy ugliness is sort of quite possible by even people like me who don't have a degree in anything. Sorry. What a beauty, what a place that we live in. What an amazing gift every day. There's a new flower, or there's a new mushroom. This one, Janini took it a couple of hours ago, and just opposite our little office. Yeah, and it's expressions. And that's the light of the sun, right at the end of the day, just coming across. And it's beautiful. And I see the wisdom of the ficus trees, of the banyans in this campus is just so extraordinary. I hope we're going to make little paths, really nice paths, that travel between the ficus trees. It'll be a ficus walk. But yeah, there's the TS. And let's hope in our time we can float in the river with a cigar. Thank you. A lot of possibilities of help, of participation. the design of the old bungalow. There's people having Fatima here, so it's so incredible. Design is needed everywhere we look. But we've got those rooms to hopefully gently transform without knowing that it's a heritage building. Listening to you, as to what can be done, but to create something quite magical there. We need the help of botanists. What do we plant where? To help Peter and myself and our team and other teams to put plants, to try plants that haven't been here for a long time that should be here. We need all sorts of, we need Lena and other engineers to transform that water. And we know how to do it. We can do it. So it's an invitation somehow this evening to me to say, well, we would like people to be in touch. We would like to meet at least once a month, a group of people who'd like to take these ideas, because it's not, I don't need a job. I've got, well, I'm going in my humble energy that I've got. I'm here because I feel I'm with friends. That's nice. It is nice. And as long as that keeps going and it's creative, and that's, our creativity is our imagination is the only thing we've got. So far, this has been a place where it's been kind of nice to dream up possibilities. If more people, young people, middle people, old people, whatever, can be a part of this movement to make this place so much fun and charming, more biodiverse, that'll be great. Anyway, that's like an invitation. What can we do?
About the invasive species.
Well, I mean, the Tolkapia Ponga, that 60 acres was only prosopis and water hyacinth, mainly. And that's sometimes people say you can't get rid of these things. You work and you take it out. It shouldn't have been there, so we took it out down to the last little water hyacinths this big. And they arrived that big. The Millingtonia, such a beautiful, the night jasmine, that fragrance at night. But look at it around the Garden of Meditation. Look at it, between the banyan tree, Krishnaji's seat, and the little workspace. It's just a jungle, sometimes a few inches apart, of Millingtonia coming up. We'll take it out. The wonderful thing, there's plenty of people around. It's just sometimes just a physical thing of taking it out. You take it out, and then it comes up a bit, take a bit more out, take a bit more out, it will go. And plant the right species, the right pieces of bushes or whatever, and they will then establish themselves. Antigone, and that's the wonderful creeper with its pink flower. The mother called it harmony, and it's terrible to think pulling it out, but my God, it just will suffocate a lot of vegetation. Take it out. We can. That means that, and gardeners, one of the critical things, the clues to the success of, I think that a regeneration of the right species in the TS is a team of dedicated gardeners who've got some training and will train others. When we did the Adyar Ponga, it's in the master plan that was to be a place where we train restoration ecologists for all the gardens and parks and whatever of Chennai first and then Tamil Nadu. And that, in a way, is what we're doing. The gardeners are the key. Yeah, sure, a lot of us plant when we could. I'm having a bit of trouble now, but but it's not the botanists, it is not the geniuses with their PhDs, it's not all the specialists and whatever that will do them. It's the heroes are the barefoot ecologists, the ones that dig the holes, get to know the plants, get to know the species, and can do it anyway. And that's what we've created. We've got a small group of people who've done work from Coimbatore to the hills, from Uti to here. And some of them can't read and write, doesn't matter. My closest friends are village ladies from the colony in Nadakupong who grew up all the seedlings that are now in the nursery here. And they've been here. Those ladies came here 2 weeks ago. We always bring people from our village nurseries or whatever to see where the seedlings are going, and they're great. They know the species. They're the ones that we train here. And building up that team of gardeners here, small group, be 4 or 5. And this is the plan we want to talk about. This will make it work. And they can teach more the gardeners that are here. But they're the important part, the doers. It's okay to plan and have all these ideas and fancy ideas, but no. It's whether you've got a group of people with a mission to do physically. We can do it systematically. Any other? So, what do you think?
It's an excellent presentation, very good visionary thoughts. I think as we put it into black and white, put it into segments, which to be executed first, planning operations. I think President can take some call on that. As you rightly requested, as the participants can meet once in a month and review the thing, and also do some physical, like you said, cleaning the area or planting nursery, participation, community discussions. That would help a lot.
And what are the economic commitments? What is the range of people when we do Tolkapi Apunga?
Interesting question. I'll jump to the point where Haji could explain that a bit more too, but this Blue-Green Centre a few years ago, or environment centres, what's the point of that? And there was quite an opposition in the Adyar Punga by sometimes the ecologists, and the ecologists saying, no, environmental education should be only in the schools. That's a big story. I heard that shouted at me in the High Court of India, of Madras. People don't understand that gardens can be classrooms. It's got now, through all of that, creating, I think, Tolkapi Apunga and working with friends, some of them here who are part of schools, extraordinary schools, and this blue-green centre idea has got to the point where just recently I wrote a budget for 10 crores. I think I can share this, for funds that come through SEAC. This means CSR funds, and this was ACL. No, ACL funds to SEAC, the government, that then distributes it to good projects. So my friend Dean Bundu, he said, look, we've got 10 crores, can we put this into blue-green centres? Not just blue-green centres, but blue-green corners. We've got 10 lakhs for another 4 or 5 blue-green centres in different parts of Tamil Nadu. This is all okay. We're doing the final project right up now. New blue-green centres, 5. Towards, and I jumped back a year ago to Subriya Sahu in Anna University. She was the chief guest, I was the main speaker, and Sarah, the consul, organised it, Madras Day. And the next day in the paper, after hearing my talk, it was 100 blue-green centres throughout Tamil Nadu. That was a year ago in the Hindu. Then we've got this 10 crore budget for 6 more, plus possibly, well not possibly, but 20 at least, if not 100 blue-green corners. That means a few lakhs in a school to to support a gardener. And this is something that I'm absolutely adamant about. That's the clue to having a gardener. And no schools, hardly any schools have it. Kanimuri came down to Nadikupon after I talked to the planning commission. She said after talking all this environmental education is really interesting. So she came down. Of course, when she came down, 300 other people came, but it was cool. But in the school, in our little school, in the middle of nowhere, it was the worst school in Tamil Nadu. There were hundreds of people around. I called the gardener and I said, Ida Mukimana, he's the most important. The gardener. Without him, without the gardener, forget it. A fence and a gardener. And that gardener's been there 20 years, and that little school that had 2 trees when we went there has now got 200 species. It's very simple. It's a very simple village high school. But that's what you need. So the blue-green corners, a few lakhs, that's also in this budget for 20 schools. And in this budget of 10 crores, there's 50 lakhs for Anna University to develop climate change, really very interesting materials for all our blue-green centers. 50 lakhs for Nadikupon as a training center for blue-green centers. And 50 lakhs for the Theosophical Society for 2 teachers, 2 years, materials to equip the Orkot bungalow, and I forget the year, but 50 lakhs. So that's there. This, and we'll be linked. That's why I said we're linked to other blue-green centers. 50 lakhs of 2 years is 25 lakhs, so nothing in a way. But when you said, where is the funds? I believe the funds for this work of environmental education, they're there. Maybe Ajit could add to that. But we're working on programs, and this will be one hub that I think will be hopefully a shining light for city environmental education. We're creating 2 centers, one in IIT and one in Sirisri. As we speak today, they were doing the soil tests for those 2 centers. But the thing's moving. Would you like to add something? The train has left the station, and I'm sure we'll have funds for 4, 5, 6 teachers working out of Orkot Bungalow. We have at the moment 4 funds for 4 teachers, and this is the commercial break. We need teachers. Please, if you know of anybody, at the moment, I think between Nadikupon and here, we need 8 teachers at the moment. And this is not asking for volunteers. It's, it can start from 25, 30, it can go to 40 or 50, depending on the abilities and the training. We need 8 people now. So any of your friends or people would like to, perhaps they're not just young kids. And freshers, okay, they could be trainees. But really we need people. This program all depends on environmental educators who are passionate and dedicated. If they've got life sciences, it's very, very good. And so many people they've got environmental studies. Please look for those people and send them in our direction. An advertisement, Janini, went out, just a week ago. Yeah, it's there and it can be circulated more. So there's something going on. This is not just, how to say, we're not just talking.
Just one little, Mr. Dinabandhu IAS. Mr. Dinabandhu IAS, who is the chairman of the CR, which you are mentioning. Yeah. Has he actually sanctioned it, or is he on the top process, CSR funds 10 crores in the 50 lakhs of Theosophical Society?
It's gone through many meetings. It's gone right up to meetings with Supriya and Rahul Nath, and Rahul Nath is in charge of it. It's with the company, the green company. Supriya formed the green company. That 10 crores went there, and it's all been sanctioned. We're in the final stages. Actually, maybe you talk to that for a moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. SIAC is, I'm also
I think for others' information, full form of SIAC, State Environment Impact Assessment Authority of Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. So where I got associated with this is we look after the government schools. We have 37,000.
You are in SIAC.
No, I'm with, I manage a program with the Department of School Education.
Okay.
And that's where we started the now school program, one of the projects that my company runs. And SIAC has allocations, and we have maybe raised through SIAC more than 25-30 crores for different interventions, different parts of the state. So I think that we have someone like Dinabandhu there who is supportive of.
He's the chairman of it.
Yes, extremely supportive of what we're trying to do. I'm sure whether it's from SIAC or from CSR funds, I think this is such a iconic property here. Of course, institutionally, what we do we want CSR funds, or how we are going to manage it, is there's another dimension to this entire work that we have to do in Theosophical. It's not like looking at government schools. It's very different. So within the boundaries of what this institution will allow, we can look at mobilizing CSR support from India.
But that 10 crores has been sanctioned.
Yeah.
There's
So-
green fellows at the moment, as you speak, out there in Tamil Nadu, finding the places for the other blue green centres in 5 other climatic zones. And it's being really thought out. Where is the most vulnerable places in the light of climate change to put these centres? It's quite interesting. A lot of people involved, but that's clear. I mean, there's no discussion of that funding not come. But it's just the beginning.
Let's see if that doesn't come, we find something else. So I think the important thing is to keep moving.
That's right. Train has left the station, that's what Klaus said.
That these, you get that far, but behind it, you know, it's almost dozens, if not hundreds of meetings and traipsing up and down the secretariats and whatever. It can be exhausting, but it's people are listening. Anyway. So,
Just from my side of things, thank you so much. What's apparent to me is that this is a particular moment, and all of these different things are coming together. And to be a part of that now, and to be a part of it in the right way, is something that I think is very promising. And I think it'll be something that'll also be very good even for people who are here. But among our residents, I am certain that there are people who have the desire and the ability to become these gardeners of their own space. And so that's something that I think can develop as we move along as well. No, but it's important. I mean, this thing is just so in tune with the need of the moment that for us to be able to do it and participate in this way, I think is very important.
let's have fun doing it. Gardening is fun. Yeah.
Joss, I don't think it's just about the train having left the station. So I'm saying I don't think it's just about the train having left the station. I think it's also about this space, this very spiritual place. And it's fantastic, as you were speaking and making the presentation, I was thinking of the Punga, how that got transformed from what it was to what it is. The TS has a history which everybody knows about, loves, admires, wants to keep. I think it's just, even if 10% of what you're saying actually turns out in my lifetime, I think it'll be it'll be something that is well done. I hope much more than 10% happens, but even if it's just 10%, I think it'll be huge. And I can see, I mean, in one day's invitation, so many people showed up to be a part of this program. I think you're onto a really good thing, and I really hope it works out the way you're planning it.
Thank you, friend.
I should be saying thank you, friend.
These two people that were my oldest friends, he happens to run a very interesting, you have to own a very nice shop just on your boundary. There's no one's.
It's still there. I said it's still there.
It's still there. No one's current.
I have, sir, I have you to blame for my wife's love of your place. Your shop is
I
too
love the
nice.
love, but it isn't enough. There's no such thing as enough love for a shop.
You have enough with her.
Good place, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for listening. Let's, we're going to be in touch. We're going to form onward processes. Robert Garcia will become the district forest officer of the TS office. Fantastic. Yeah. Anyway, we've been working together for decades and decades. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joss.